4th and goal to go to the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
I saw this. The underrated team. Okay, guys. Pretty much in recent history, pretty much guys that had very good careers, were very productive, but were underrated, as it says in this thumbnail here. Now, the Giants had 3 players. One of them really wasn't much of a Giant, for very long, okay, but who were underrated. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were all on the offensive line, right? Because, this guy right here, very underrated. Very, very underrated. All right, here we go. Where are we at here? That's it. 3 ex-Giants named to the all-time most actually underrated team. Underrated is a term that has become loosely used over the past decade. Players who hardly fly under the radar have been given that label unjustly, resulting in overuse. So what does underrated actually mean? And what NFL players, past or present, are actually underrated? Our NFL Wire colleague, John Sigler of Saints Wire, recently set out to redefine the word and restore it to its roots. In doing so, he compiled an all-time team of players who are and have been generally underrated. First up was the offense, and 3 former members of the New York Giants found themselves on the all-time most actually underrated team. Who drew the initial nod? Well, one-time All-Pro and 2-time Super Bowl champion David Diehl, the left tackle. He was the second team left tackle in this underrated article here. Diehl did really well for himself as a former 5th-round pick. He won the New York Giants starting job at left tackle in his second season and held on to it for several years before he was asked to move around, splitting time at both guard spots and right tackle. He started 160 of 164 games in the NFL, all with New York, and he won a pair of Super Bowl titles too. He was a key piece of those Giants teams everyone wrote off before they played a single snap. Diehl was a key part of the Giants' offensive line that became one of the very best and most consistent in football. And for that reason, it's fitting that the next Giant on Sigler's list is fellow offensive tackle Kareem McKenzie, who was the first team offensive tackle most underrated. How many guys can say they spent all 161 games playing for 2 different teams in the same city, right? Because McKenzie came to us from the New York Jets. McKenzie was the 3rd-round pick by the Jets in 2001, but he went across town to sign with the New York Giants and ended up winning 2 Super Bowls there. He did a great job protecting Eli Manning all those years and anchoring the right side of the line. The way some Giants fans tell it, the team never did get around to replacing him at right tackle. How true that is. Last up for the Giants is an active player, and we only had him for a short period of time. But the one thing is that, the thing was that with Gettleman, right, what he did with our salary cap was just basically we let him go, right? And Shane came in. The salary cap was just a total disaster. Total disaster. Unfortunately, because we had so many, like Galladay, we had some really bad contracts in the books. This next guy we're going to talk about, Kevin Sigler, is still in the NFL, still producing. And it just sometimes it's just so funny because you had Kevin Sigler who did do pretty well with the. I mean, well, he wasn't super duper phenomenal, but he did well for us when he was with the Giants. And of course, I believe it's because of the salary cap. We had to let him go, and he's still out there performing at a nice level. And the Giants keep needing offensive line help. And like we had them. We had somebody who was doing pretty good. He was on the line, did pretty good, and we just let him go. And now we're still looking for help. Gettleman, what a treat he was. So last up for the Giants is an active player who wasn't part of those offensive lines. Rather, he was a solid piece for what were some of the worst offensive lines in football. He now calls Tennessee home. Kevin Sigler, the right guard, the second team right guard. Once again, in this article, he's the second team right guard on the most underrated, right? One time, Kevin Sigler was the highest paid guard in the NFL, which feels like a nice consolation prize for being recognized as just one Pro Bowl in his 13-year career. Sigler is on to his sixth team in his 198-game career, when he was picked in the first round, so we're putting him behind Garza, who was a fourth rounder when he entered the league. Sigler also considered several other Giants, including running back Jonathan Stewart and wide receiver Golden Tate, for his list, but they did not make the cut. Okay, this article actually appeared in Giants Wire, 3 ex-Giants named to the all-time most actually underrated team. Let's see here what we got. So at quarterback was Ryan. The first team was Ryan. I'll just go over the first team. Was Ryan Fitzpatrick, most underrated. Running backs, LeGarrette Blount, first team. Wide receiver, they got 2 of them, Marcus Colston and Adam Thielen. We got tight end, Ben Watson. Left tackle, Jeff Backus was the first team. David Diehl was the second team at left tackle. Left guard, Raymond Foster, his first team. And, of course, the center, Dominic Raiola. Right guard, Roberto Garza. Kevin Sigler was the second team. Then we got right tackle. First team was Kareem McKenzie. All right. Then we got okay. That was the offense. I don't know if he has the defensive side. I'm not going to bother reading the defensive side. Oh, on offense. The actually underrated team on offense. So there was. So I'm not sure if they're if whether or not. Right, I'm not sure whether or not any Giants are on the underrated, all-time underrated defensive team or not. But there was 3 Giants, and they're all on the offensive line. And I said, but I always get such a kick out of with the Kevin Sigler thing. As I said, he wasn't unbelievably super fantastic or nothing like that with the with the Giants, but he did well. But because of the way the contract was and all that, we I don't want to let him go to save some money. And he's out there still performing at a nice rate. And the Giants are still looking for offensive line help. So, although he wasn't ever going to be a long-term solution at all or anything like that because of his age, but he's still out there performing well.